Hello everyone, my name is ScarWidow, and today is a special day where I review a fan film. Today I will be reviewing Spider-Man Lotus. After living the high-octane life of being the friendly neighborhood Spidey for a while, young man Peter Parker accidentally misses his spot in the WWE Championship match and fails to save Gwen Stacy, her father, and Norman Osborn on the same night. Turning into a massive anime boy filled with grief and anger like Eren Yeager, Peter is constantly on the verge of giving up as the wall crawler forever and wanting to cause the rumbling, while his buddies Harry Osborn and Mary Jane Watson are crying for eternity too. Quick side note, since this is a fan film that is completely free for everyone who has a decent connection to YouTube, I'm going to get right into the spoilers. Another side note, I know the director and main actor are a little racist, and that shit is never alright for me, but I'm going to put that aside for the sake of the review. Not that it really matters, because you all will see right now. The first aspect of the film that I want to talk about is the action. Since I was aware that this is a fan film that had just over $112,000 to work with for its 2-hour runtime, I was not expecting a grand spectacle similar to other Spider-Man films. However, I was still expecting some fun and cute Spidey action sequences, as the IP always calls for numerous action moments to play out alongside Peter's personal struggles. While the film was hype in the beginning with a neat little scuffle in a random alleyway between Spidey and Shocker, the action literally ends there faster than Anakin's jump in Revenge of the Sith.
It's over, Anakin! I have the high ground! You underestimate my power! Don't try it!
I was so confused as to why director/writer Gavin Konop went with a limited action story for a Spider-Man film. Like, I understand that Gwen Stacy's death is a major plot point in the Spider-Man anime, and it completely fucked with Peter for a long time, but we don't need to spend 2 full hours with droplets of action barely being shown. I felt like I was at Camp Green Lake dying of thirst, but instead of Mr. Sir emptying my water in front of me, he was emptying awesome Spidey action.
You thirsty, Stanley?
Yes, Mr. Sir.
Well, you better get used to it. You're gonna be thirsty for the next 18 months.
Again, I understand the limited budget, however, if they're able to show us multiple times the night where everyone got Thanos snap in both animation and live action, maybe they could have given us more action scenes with Spidey against either street-level NPCs or other villains from the IP. Overall, no action in a Spider-Man film is a capital sin because it's literally a foundational concept for making a Spidey film. Another negative aspect was the emotion. The emotion of the film was way too drawn out to the point it dragged the entire experience down for me. Being a massive Spider-Man fangirl, it takes a lot, and I mean a lot, for me to dislike a Spidey film. I mean, Sony had to actually deliver these fucking goobers for me to finally be like,
You undress yourself, you son of a bitch!
Anyways, as I've stated before, Gwen dying is a defining emotional moment in Peter's life, but it didn't need to overshadow everything in this film. Like, everyone was fucking depressed and sad and gloomy and wanting the game over, and I was standing there about to turn into Becky Lynch, ready to kick everyone's ass.
I've lived my whole life trying to be someone that little boy has looked up to you his entire life. Stop.
I have lost a lot of things in the last year. I have lost titles. I have lost friends. I might have lost my damn mind, but one thing I haven't lost, Miz, is a step. Now I know how your stupid little show works. I know I'm not the only guest coming out here, so why don't you bring Trish Stratus out before you lose your tiny testicles?
I don't want to be misunderstood or anything. Like, I love miserable and dark films and video games that have characters who are struggling to move on from death and grow into better humans, but there is a balance between emotion and action that moves the plot along that is vital to pushing a project to a greater level. An example of a miserable and dark film that understands this balance perfectly is last year's The Batman. It was a film about a troubled young man who has not forgotten about his mother and father's violent downfall when he was a boy, which resulted in him becoming a miserable hero who wanders about the shadows of Gotham without any clue about why he does it. He is looking for the Riddler to end his reign of terror without knowing how this will fix his inner demons. It is only through opening up to his allies he meets along the way and becoming more empathetic towards his fellow citizens that the Batman realizes he is Bruce Wayne, a normal human who has flaws that are okay. This emotional journey is incredible because it is given through subtle nuances alongside amazing action sequences to not bore the audience. Another example is God of War 2018. The video game sees a broken man, Kratos, following the death of his wife, Faye, wander aimlessly on the path of life with his son, Atreus. Through being thrown into an action-filled adventure and meeting allies along the way that force him to open up more, similar to Batman, Kratos discovers love and friendship again, which in turn makes him want to live for not only himself, but for those around him. Most importantly, his son. Kratos becomes the God of War again, but this time with maturity and humanity for his fellow god and mythic friends through a badass adventure filled with fighting awesome creatures. In the end, both the Batman and God of War 2018 prove that you can make a miserable and dark story with sad characters work, as long as it has the proper balance of action and character depth to not be boring, a trap this film severely falls into. The only decent aspect from the film for me was the cast. I don't want to be too negative on the casting for this film since it is a fan film, and I am aware they can't get my spirit animal Emma Stone to play Gwen Stacy like Sony can, so I will navigate through this Witcher quest with some caution. I did think that while he was rather dull at times, Wayne Warden was okay as Spider-Man. The segment where Spidey was with the terminally ill child was probably my favorite part with Warden's performance because the emo emotion was put to the side for the most part and it gave him a little wiggle room to be freely able to do other things with the character, such as being a figure of inspiration for a child and trying to navigate the conversation of the hardships of the hero lifestyle to someone who thinks of you as the greatest thing since Arya Stark finally killing the Night King.
That's what I'm talking about! That's why he's the MVP! That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
Moving on, the rest of the cast was decent I guess, but again, the whole emotional beatdown didn't really give them much freedom to have fun with the characters. Like, I was low-key feeling like Wichita in the car calling Freezer Girl cute while being judgmental because everyone was so goth in this film.
Sweet. You're cute together. I like it. Aww.
One of the last aspects I want to touch upon is the love for the character that was displayed. It is obvious from the film that the director/writer loves Spider-Man, as there were numerous callbacks to other popular films and TV shows based on the wall crawler. Although it is nice to see little Easter eggs every now and then, it was a bit much. Like, while it was cool noticing certain shots being a callback to other live-action Spidey films, entire plot points are literally stolen and not even as smooth as Margot Robbie in Focus.
Alright, you ready?
Yep.
Let me go, whiskey. Let me walk out that door. Well, I'm feeling so fine, but
Being a massive Spider-Man fangirl, I know that the entire 40-minute subplot with the terminally ill child is that one episode of Spider-Man the Animated Series. Like, it's one of the most popular episodes of the entire series. Also, the entire incident of Uncle Ben's death is pulled directly from Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, and so is the death of Norman Osborn. I know it's out of love and respect when Konop is doing these sequences, but at some point I'd rather be watching the original material because it was done infinitely better by geniuses who made it their own, since there was nothing like those iterations before then. The final thing is the message of the overall film. The message of never giving up and being the hero you are destined to be, I guess. Honestly, after sitting through 2 hours of depression and sadness, I was at least glad Peter Parker finally decided to be Spider-Man again. I feel happy to see my favorite hero become himself again and have that revelation in the child's room, as it was the best part of the film. I just wish we would have got that realization much sooner, because the film showed promise after Peter got his mojo back like Austin Powers to get his fuck on again.
You can't stop me now, Mr. Powers. I have your mojo, and I'm taking it with me to the moon.
Put them in the jail cell! My mojo! I'll get you, Dr. Evil! I'll get you!
Oh, look at me. I'm shaking in my little space boots.
Maybe in the future, if Konop decides to make a sequel, he'll actually make a better balanced film that handles Peter's troubled civilian life while at the same time being hopeful in his quest to save others as Spidey, because the scene in the room when he gets motivation to return to the heroic life and the final swing was the best parts. Sadly, that was only a couple of minutes out of a 2-hour film of slow sadness. Well, that'll do it for this film. Overall, a fan film that oddly favored emo feels over the campy feel-good time of a traditional Spider-Man film. I am really confused as to why Konop took this melancholy approach, and I hope he learns from this miserable experience that a Spider-Man film can still be incredible with a dark tone when balanced perfectly with action sequences. In the end, I'll give the fan film Spider-Man Lotus a 2 out of 10.
Back here, Shocker! Shocker! You can't escape me! I'll chase you to the ends of the earth!
If you love someone, you shoot them in the face.